Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. I'm going to do another kind of a tool, I wouldn't really call it a review, but a tool discussion today. If you've been watching my past couple videos, you'll notice that I've been kind of interested in adjustable wrenches recently, and I've been trying to find the perfect adjustable wrench because the typical nut fucker it's common, everyone knows what these look like, how they work, what they are, but they have some shortcomings. And I'm convinced that there's an answer out there, and if the answer isn't out there, somebody just hasn't invented it yet. Because these jaws have slop, and it adjusts itself once it rattles around a little bit, and it's just not quite right. So what I have here is something that I found in one of my searches for an adjustable wrench. Alternative style of adjustable wrench. This is an Eifel geared plier wrench, 8.5 inch. I think it's pretty cool that all the information is stamped right on the face of the tool. You see it has the original price of the tool. I believe the 43 is the date. I'm assuming 1943. I don't know what the 11 is with the underline. The 10:1 is the gear ratio, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then there's some numbers, and of course it's made in the USA. The jaw has an interesting groove pattern on it, and the other movable jaw has a corresponding pattern. And this movable jaw is removable, and full kits come with a conical nose jaw and also an angle cut to be used as a pipe wrench. It also has a wire cutter, but I was very disappointed in the wire cutter. Given the overall quality of this tool, which is very nice, the wire cutter is junk. The edges rather than coming and shearing like that, the edges come like that and kind of miss each other, and it'll sort of mush wire apart, but it really doesn't do a good job of cutting it, but it works in a pinch. So the way it works, there's your fixed jaw and handle and your movable jaw and handle, and there's a little rack and pinion gear in here. The rack gear is on the movable jaw and the pinion gear is on this handle. And so as you move the handle open and closed, the jaw moves open and closed. But the unique thing about this is that the jaws move parallel to each other, as opposed to any other set of pliers where they angle as you open. Now this is great. This is great if you're trying to use this on a nut. I'm sure we all have tried to loosen nuts with these or grab on something really large, and the pliers just keep slipping off because of the angle that you're opening them up to. But this doesn't do that because the jaws stay parallel. And the jaws are also adjustable. What you do, you pull this handle back, you'll see this pivot pin move, pull it back, and then you can move this jaw in and out. So it opens up quite wide at its widest, and here you can see the gear. To take the jaw out, you pull the handle back, and then you open it up farther, then you can slide the jaw out. And then you can also slide it back in. So let's see how wide this jaw can open. I actually haven't measured this. So this is opened as wide as it'll go. And we're looking at 1.5 inches. If you want to split hairs, it's 1 inch and 554 thousandths. That's 1.5 inches though, as far as I'm concerned. Now it's an 8.5 inch tool. So here's an 8-inch adjustable. This wrench has been on YouTube before. This is my favorite Dymaloy Diamond Caulk, Horseshoe Company, Duluth, Minnesota. Anyway, this 8-inch adjustable opens up to 965 thousandths, so it's significantly smaller. Now, this tool isn't without its shortcomings. Firstly, even though it's called a plier wrench, indicating that it's half plier, half wrench, well, I suppose it is half and half. And I think I've probably mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. Anything, whether it's a tool or a whatever, anything that does more than one intended function is marginal at both things and good at neither. This is an adjustable wrench. It works great as an adjustable wrench. It also works marginally as a hammer, but that's beside the point. This is equal parts plier and wrench, and as a result, it works marginally at both. It's a little bulky. It's a little bulky to use them as pliers, and there's also no spring open or close, which normally I don't mind. I just kind of hold the handles like that. But with this sort of wrench or pliers or whatever, it just doesn't really lend itself to that, because I have to hold it here to open and close it, but then I have to move my hand back here to get any real leverage on it. Oh, and a little side note, I just remembered, of course it has a flathead screwdriver built into the handle, which is probably the most annoying flathead screwdriver you're ever going to use. So it does work as pliers, but you know, I don't know. It just doesn't. I would much rather grab these pliers than these if I needed to plier something. However, if I did need to plier something with some parallel jaws, this would be the thing to use. Now, as far as wrenching things goes, the downside is that you have two handles to contend with, and your jaws are constantly opening and closing unless you're squeezing on the handles. And that's pretty annoying. Also, it's significantly more bulky than a comparable adjustable wrench. However, it does have the benefit of self-closing when you are using it. If you use it in this position, pretend there's a nut in there or a bolt, and you're turning it clockwise, you're tightening it, you're putting force on this handle. Now remember, this handle is the handle that opens and closes the jaw. So as you're turning the entire tool, you are also closing the jaw tightly on the nut, preventing the jaw from slipping, which is a feature that these wrenches do not have. Once you set it, it just is what it is, and more often than not, you put it on the nut, tighten it, turn it, and then you can't pull it off, so you got to loosen it, pull it off, put it back on, tighten it. I don't have to explain that to you. You've all used this tool before. Now, the other thing that I forgot to mention about the functionality of this is that when you're adjusting it, you really need two hands. I mean, in the advertisements, it says you can, you know, open it with one hand, put it on your fastener, hold the handle open with a finger or two, then you can close the jaw with your two fingers like this onto the fastener, and then you'll be able to squeeze it as normal. And you should be able to do it one-handed and easily. But of course it's an advertisement, and yes, it's true, but it's just not easy. Once again, this is a lot easier, it's lighter, it's just more pleasurable to use. I never thought I would say that about an adjustable wrench. But it is a pretty cool tool, and this particular piece I think is somewhat unique because of all the research I've done on these Eifel plier wrenches, I've never seen a chrome plated or nickel plated one. I'm not sure what this is. It's probably nickel plate now that I'm thinking about it, but anyway, Never seen one. They've all just been plain forged steel, just like this wrench. So, and it's in very good condition too. So I do like it. It's a very interesting tool. It's you know, it's definitely a novelty now that I have it, but I'm glad that I bought it. I didn't get it for too bad of a deal. I bought it on eBay. There's a lot of these on eBay if any of you guys out there want your own Eifel plier wrench. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of different kinds, a lot of different, not kinds, but different styles as they went through the years. So I think that about sums it up. I don't have anything else to say about this. It's interesting, it's unique. Oh, yes, there is one more thing. One very important thing to say about this. Now, I've also said this time and time before, that a lot of new inventions that we talk about today as being great, new, modern, awesome things that no one would have figured out with old technology back in the day, etc., etc. I'll give you an example. Overhead valve, for example. These days, a lot of the small engines, like little single-cylinder, you know, Kohlers or Briggs or whatever, they're all overhead valve, and it's a new, fancy, great thing. But pretty much every hit-and-miss engine built in the 1900s and 10s and 20s, all of those were overhead valve. Anyway, this idea is currently being sold by a company called Nipex or Nipex or whatever. Actually, I think I've heard people call it Knipex, but I don't agree with that pronunciation. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I don't ask for a knife, I ask for a knife. So I'm going to talk about Nipex pliers. They make other things too, bolt cutters and other such things. But anyway, Nipex makes a tool with this technology, this concept, but it more resembles a channel lock. They have the same marketing tactics where they say, you know, as you squeeze on the handle, it tightens, and the whole parallel jaw thing, and the adjustable, you know, geared adjustable jaw. It's all the same. Go and look up a Nipex. Oh, you know, I don't even remember what they're called, but it shouldn't be too long. It shouldn't take too long to figure it out. Now, the most important thing is that this tool cost me, I think, $11 or $12 plus a couple bucks shipping. So in the end, it was maybe $15 to buy, which, considering a $5 original price back in potentially 1943, it holds its value. But for a collectible, antique, good condition tool, I think that was a pretty good deal. $12, not including shipping. The Nipex plier that's comparable to this is, depending on the size, anywhere from like $40 to $90. It's ridiculous. That's absolutely insane. There's no reason that a set of pliers this size should ever sell for $55. It's not worth it. And judging from these, they're definitely not worth it. The Nipex plier seems to be a little better, a little less bulky, maybe a little easier to use, but it's ridiculous. It's just not worth it. And yeah, it's made in Germany, good quality, blah blah blah. But I don't care. It's just it's for what you get, not worth it. And also, I've watched some reviews online, and people, as they move the pliers around, you could hear it clanking and jittering and clacking around. This tool, can you hear anything? It doesn't make a noise. Everything is nice and tight because there's a spring in there that takes all the backlash out of that gear. Everything is tight. So, I think it's interesting that we have some new awesome pliers that are actually not new, because this guy Eifel, I think his name was Joseph Eifel, he figured it out couple decades ago. So I think that about concludes my review and my discussion of this Eifel geared plier wrench. I think it's a cool tool. It's been sitting on my bench for a while. I've been waiting to do a video of it, but I've finally gotten around to it. And I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. I don't want to keep them in my shop because I've got all of the right tools at hand. I've got adjustable wrenches, blah 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 blah. I don't want to keep it in my truck because I don't want it to get banged around and beaten up. So I really don't know what I'm going to do with these, because it just fills a niche that I don't even have to begin with. But I don't know, they're cool. I hope you guys enjoy this video. It definitely is cool. I do like it. Very neat, very ingenious. It's the American way, is thinking up a new solution to a common problem. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment or a thumbs up if you like this, if you want to see more videos like this. I'm still on my quest for the perfect adjustable wrench. It's out there somewhere, or maybe I've just got to design it myself. So thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, come back for more.